Tickle my pickle, pickle, recipe time. Nashlets, and welcome to today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. We've all seen that viral Grillo's pickle dip recipe. Well, I went ahead and I made it better. It was so dairy heavy and just basically like a Midwestern salad. I thought to myself, what can we do to make this more interesting and taste even better? Well, let's head into my kitchen and see how I made it. Oh, so much tastier. All right, Nash, let's go ahead and see what we are going to need to make this viral pickle dip updated and oh so much better. All right, first thing we've got is the big tub of Grillo's pickles. I got the chips, it's fine. We've got some Greek yogurt back there. We have our homemade hummus. Don't worry, you can use store-bought if you want. We've got some black pepper, some curry powder. You can use salt. I am going to be using Vegeta. I will link that. We've got a jar of diced pimentos, and then we've got some beautiful cream cheese. All right, let's get started on updating this viral pickle dip. All right, Nashlets, let's go ahead and take this pickle dip and make it oh so much better. First thing we're going to do is 8 ounces of cream cheese. All right, so cream cheese. Next up, we're going to put in a half a cup of non-fat plain Greek yogurt. Spoon it. Spoon it in there. And Nashlets, if you don't have the Greek yogurt, go ahead and use a half cup of sour cream. Next up, we are going to do a full cup of our homemade hummus, which I will link at the end of this video. And the reason why we're going with hummus instead of the Greek yogurt, sour cream, and cream cheese that was in the original is because somebody said it was too Midwestern salad, and I happen to agree. So let's go with a cup of hummus. Store-bought or homemade is fine. All right, Nashlets, and then what I've got here for seasonings to make it a little bit different is we've just got 1 teaspoon of pepper. This is 1 teaspoon of Vegeta. You can use a quarter teaspoon to a half a teaspoon of salt. We're going to taste this at the end to make sure it tastes okay. But then I have a quarter to a half a teaspoon of curry powder here to make it extra special, and we're going to go ahead and throw this in. All right, Nashlets, now I've got my handy-dandy hand mixer here. You can use a stand mixer if you have one. And we're just going to mix this all together until it gets nice and fluffy. I will let you watch that in fast motion. All right, Nashlets, we have got everything ready here. You can see it has beautifully come together. It smells amazing. Now, this is where you want to taste it and see if there's anything else you would like in there. So season it up to your preference. Does it need salt? Does it need pepper? You want to throw some hot sauce in there? Go ahead and throw some hot sauce in there. It's going to be amazing. All right, Nashlets, so now for the finishing touches, I have a jar here of pimentos that I have drained. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly drained or not, it's fine. You can add roasted red bell peppers. If you don't want to use the pimentos, chop them up yourself, that's all good. So now we've got our pimentos in there. Let's go ahead and add our pickles. All right, Nashlets, chopped to about salsa size here. I have 1 cup of the Grillo's pickle slices. You can use the spears, whatever it is. And I've got about 3 tablespoons of the juice here. That's where we get some extra salt, so don't oversalt your mix. Let's go ahead and add these in. Now we're just going to stir this together, Nashlets. All right, Nashlets, once it is all incorporated together, we're just going to transfer it over to a bowl and let everybody kind of get married for about a half an hour, at least in the refrigerator. Obviously, you can do overnight if you want. This will keep 3 to 4 days because it does have some pickle juice. Make sure you know when your hummus expires, so that lets you know if it's homemade hummus. You know, make it the day you're going to be making this because you don't want your hummus going bad. It takes, you know, that's only good in the fridge for 3 or 4 days. So let's go ahead and transfer this into a nice bowl and do the finale here. All right, Nashlets, I know it does not look super fancy, but this is better than the viral pickle dip. This one is amazing with the addition of that hummus. And again, play with all the seasonings you want to. Serve it up in a nice bowl. Heck, clean out the Grillo's pickle container and serve it in there so you can be fancy like one of the influencers and it'll be fun. But we took a viral recipe, we updated it, made it more tasty, and gave it a bunch of fiber, which it needed because that was too much of a Midwestern salad with all of that dairy in there, in my opinion. We've got that beautiful curry powder. We've got some nice brightness from our roasted peppers. And of course, the fantastic pickles. And that homemade hummus is amazing. Again, that will be linked at the end. So please, Nashlets, go ahead and give this new take on that viral recipe a shot. Nashies Pickle Dip is a winner. Thank you so much for joining me for today's quick edition of Noshing with Nashies. And remember, if you come to a fork in the road, pick it up and have a nosh with Nashies. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Consider becoming a member and check out those amazing recipe videos on your screen. I'll see you in the next one, Nashlets. Bye!